to you first. You're like, oh my gosh, I owed this money. Just wait till the 44 North one catches up, and it will fix it. And then after that, you just call Nikki or Shar and say, okay, Nikki, I don't understand what this bill means, and they'll help you. And if it's not right, they'll fix it. One of our biggest accomplishments last year is that we fixed or reversed almost $2 million in missed bill charges on our clients' bills. We have 400 groups that we work with in Michigan. Okay, it's 50,000 people like you that we cover. And we fixed or reversed, it's like 1.995 million missed bill charges last year. So what does that mean? That means you got a colonoscopy and it should have been charged as wellness. You went to a wellness appointment and they charged you for an office visit. They charged you wrong for a prescription. Another big one is you'll get billed for something that should have went to your auto insurance or your workers' comp or whatever. So that's the kind of stuff that we're doing in the background that you may never know. But the more you let us know when you have a question or a problem, the more invasive, I mean that good, in a good way, that we can be in fixing these things for you. Okay? We love to do that. I work with some really nerdy people that just love this stuff. So people make mistakes. I have a stat when I do presentations that over 40% of all hospital bills have mistakes, and they're major mistakes. Okay? That's what we love to fix. Any questions at all? Yeah.
As the spouse, if I call, will you answer my
Of course.
questions?
Yep. Yeah.
Holding you to-
Well, within the laws of HIPAA, but so we might not be able to tell you what's wrong with your husband.
No, I mean billing questions.
Oh no,
You
exactly.
already know that.
They
I was
won't
just-
talk to me.
Yeah, see, that's
my wife
fine.
calls,
Yeah.
and they won't, so she just gets online and does it through online.
They're much more reasonable. Okay? I always tell people, like when I was dealing with my son's stuff, I don't know why some stuff was under my wife's name and some was under mine. They weren't going to talk to me. I said, okay, I've got the insurance, so if you want to get paid, you need to talk to me. What does that insurance? So, look at the billing, and then, oh, okay, all of a sudden, but yes, it'll be much more reasonable. You're really going to like working with the people at 44 North. I think it's going to make your life easier. A lot of times, and just to be honest with you guys, you might not want to come to work and ask people about your medical issues or the bills that you have. Okay, right? Am I right? So now you can call people who, they're not going to talk to anybody. I don't talk to Shar about your medical issues. I don't know anything about you guys as much as you call her and Nikki. I'm not going to know. So it's just nice to have someone else that you can call and tell these stories, but not have to do it over and over again as you call around to Blues and Guardian and all that. Okay? I'm probably way over on my time, so.
That's our biggest reason, to be honest, as we sat and talked. That's the biggest reason that we felt we had to make the change. Because that's what we've gotten back from everybody else, is that we've had terrible, terrible service problems. Nobody will talk to us. We can't get questions answered. We got to send a gazillion. I know you went through that. You got to keep sending damn receipts every 10 minutes back to somebody, and I'm not getting anything. So we're lucky because we have a couple people here in the organization now that have been with them in the past. And so we had some pretty good information there. We've been able to then make contacts with other close, people around us who are using 44 North, and that's all we hear is that those issues went away. Now, and I didn't know if it was in books, I didn't have mine. As of right now, too, so that you know, our premiums are the same. I mean, your cost is the same. Nothing went up compared to where we were last year. And I think I told you at this meeting last year, be prepared because we really thought this year was going to be a nice kick in the butt going up. It didn't happen. So everything he's talking about is going to be available to us at the same cost to you that it was. And we also have discussed the issue with spouses, which has really come back to us. There's a little bit of a savings on that. It's not worth ticking everybody off as to why we weren't doing it, okay? And it means that much to us to be able to do that and what we're trying to do. So I think this will be fantastic. I getting to understand more of it from there. The other thing I took out of it from the layperson standing here is to understand how you use your health care does affect everybody. If it wasn't for HIPAA, we could find out what you were costing us, and then you wouldn't, because then people would, why'd you go to the ER? for that, you know, little thing. So.
Yeah, it really takes each of us doing it ourselves, because I'm telling you, if you guys, I hate going to groups, and I always have to deliver the bad news. 20% increase, 28% increase. Can you imagine? Guess what? Benefits are gonna go down, costs are gonna go up. So that's what we can all control together, each of us alone. So, and I appreciate you saying those things. We take a lot of pride in that. So, you know, when you guys call, introduce yourself to Shar and Nikki, tell them where you're from, they'll love that. And they'll love that you're a new group, and welcome you aboard. So, thank you guys very much, I appreciate it.
And full disclosure, we grew up in the same neighborhood, but that didn't have anything to do with this choice.
I think we figured that out.
From there, yeah, we didn't know that until afterwards, and obviously he's a little younger than me, so it's not like we were chums. So if you hear that, I just want you to know that. Okay? Thanks. Anthony.
Yeah, no problem.
Appreciate it.
Thank
Look
you.
forward to it.
Yes, thank you.
All right. Next. This has been, I know, an issue in the city for a long period of time. I know there's been a lot of attempts at inroads. This wasn't planned, and Anthony threw that out to them about his experience with Aflac in the past. So,
Never had that happen.
so it's nice to see.
Thank you for the plug.
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear you had success with it,
Yeah.
and that it was there and it did what it was supposed to do.
Yeah.
And the importance is, it's been something that everybody's been asking about, and so the opportunity now to bring them in, I need to be, and so that everybody understands, this is not a benefit that we're providing. We will, though, allow it to happen here, and we will manage to get your stuff in through payroll and all that kind of stuff. So this is entirely up to you, but I think it's important that we understand all of the things that we have available to us. So thank you, guys.
I appreciate it. Well, thank you everyone for your time, and I'm going to be as brief as I possibly can, but yet get you educated on how Aflac works and the difference between what Anthony just went over. And thank you, Anthony. I've been doing this now for 17 years, and I have never had somebody from the benefits side actually say something kind and generous about us. And so we do appreciate that, and we appreciate the support that we're getting from the city. I've been, as I said, I've been doing this 17 years. I've been here in Gratiot County now for 13 years, and I've been trying to get you guys benefits all 13 years. So, so it is something that we've been striving for, and we hope that you take advantage of the opportunity. In the packets, we're going to do a little show and tell. On one side, you're going to have a lot of benefits that are behind one side, and there is a worksheet in there. This worksheet is going to enable us to be able to set you up a lot quicker. I would like to take these with me when we leave today so that I can get them put into our system when we come back. We're planning on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday of next week to hope to be able to see all the people who want to see us prior to the end of the open enrollment period. We too have the same date restriction, and we're hoping to get these things in. Restriction, I don't know if that's the right word, but to be able to get that into so that the payroll deductions are in before the end of the year. If you're not comfortable with your social on there, that's cool. We don't care about that. At this time when we sit down with you individually, we can put that. If you don't want your salary on there, that is fine too. We can do that when we sit down with you. And I'm going to get started on this side. The other side is actually the premium quotes that you'll see in there, and they're two-sided. So I'm trying to learn how to save paper, guys. I'm not very good at it. So in there, on this one side, you're going to see 3 policies that can have a rider to them. So these 3 products can actually have this little rider attached to them. For somebody as young as up to the age of 29, this is 72 cents a week to add a rider that will give you $5,000 in the event of a heart attack, stroke, coma, paralysis, major third-degree burn, ALS, Lou Gehrig's disease, type 1 diabetes. Yep. Let's see, multiple sclerosis, permanent loss of sight, hearing, speech, or a sudden cardiac arrest. Has a secondary event that'll pay another $2,500 as long as there's 6 months in between the 2 events. If you have to have a coronary artery bypass, graft surgery, $1,250 benefit, $1,250 benefit for encephalitis, bacterial meningitis, Lyme disease, sickle cell, cerebral palsy, necrotizing fasciitis, osteomyelitis, systemic lupus, cystic fibrosis. So those are all big guns. If you've got those, you know you've got them. That bottom line, you even know how to say it. And so I just actually read on Facebook that a local guy has necrotizing fasciitis. It's the flesh-eating disease. So it's happening around us. We don't think that that's ever going to happen to us, but you don't know what you're going to get, where you're going to get it. So This is a very, very inexpensive way to add some critical illness benefits to any one of these 3 products. You can insure your family, but just because you have one doesn't mean you have to insure them. You can do an individual coverage on yourself, and then you can actually have a family plan on other plans. So it's totally up to you. The main thing that I really want to encourage you guys to look at is the short-term disability. If you are counting on your paycheck in order to make the car payment, to make the mortgage payment, to make the electricity, feed your family, do those things, this is the way that we can protect you. This is the best product that I'm going to offer you. I had a scenario, talk about stories, but I had a scenario where back in 2013 I was tubing behind our boat, actually somebody else's boat, our tube, and I was the old lady in the middle, and I had 2 little girls on the outside, and they got fallen in the water, but I was determined I was staying on, but the guy was determined to get me off. I never touched the water, but ended up with elbow pain on both sides of my elbow, on both elbows. I thought, oh, I just strained something, sprained something, did something, stayed too long. Well, after a long period of time of doctors not being able to figure out what was wrong with me, I had a surgery. Thought that that would fix the elbow. Didn't do anything. What it was a pinched nerve in my neck. It took 2 years of being off from work and having my neck reconstructed in order to figure out what was wrong with me and to alleviate the pain. So because of what we do, and we lift and we tug and lug and a lot of weight, that was probably perpetuated by that. But this is the only thing that saved my mortgage. This is the only thing that fed my children during that time. So please be sure to look at that. I put together on the premium quote up to a certain $38,000 a year. If you're making more than that, don't worry, you can be insured. We can go anywhere from $500 to $6,000 a month is where we can go. You get to pick the eliminations. There's a lot of specifics to that. It's based on your age, it's based on your income, and then your needs. If you need to have money coming within the first day of an accident after 7 days of an illness, we can protect you. That's the best that we can do. Then you can have the time frame go out. Obviously, the premium's going to go down based on that, based on those numbers. So there's a lot of specifics to that. I can't tell you your premium is going to be $20 per paycheck because there's so many parameters. There's a value rider that goes on that, and I really want you to consider this. I had my plan in place for 13 years prior to ever using it, and so I wish I'd had this value rider. It'll pay you $1,000 every 5 years that you don't use the plan, and that's kind of a cool thing to have in place. I just paid the premium all those 13 years and never got anything out of it. So look at that. It's a little extra premium to do that, but we can go over that when we sit down with you on the specifics of how that really works. These 2 plans are the accident plan, which of course it's a great plan if you've got an accident because it's going to pay you a cash benefit. That's the other thing that Aflac does that your health insurance isn't doing. Everything that I talk about, if I say a number, it's a cash benefit to you. It's paid directly to you, regardless of what you paid. If it was a free wellness that you went to the doctor and you got your wellness, you can still get paid from us. It doesn't matter what the cost was to you. On the accident plan, it does have to, you do have to seek medical attention within 72 hours of an accident happening. So for those men in the room who hurt yourself and then don't go get help for 3 to 6 weeks, which is typical, guys. I mean, it's just what happens. You can't say that when you go. It had to have happened within 72 hours of something happening to you. So, in other words, a prudent person would seek medical attention. Just for that, going in and having that initial treatment, it can be $200 at the emergency room if they do an x-ray, and then it is $170 if they don't. If you go to any other facility, so it could be a doctor's office, a dentist's office, chiropractor, your regular physician, if they do an x-ray, it's $150. If they don't, it's $120. And then there's benefits for being hospitalized, $1,500 for that first day because you were admitted to the hospital, $300 a day. We have ambulance benefits, blood and plasma benefits, major diagnostic exams if you had to have an MRI or a CAT scan, benefits $250 on that. Follow-up visits at $40 a piece for 6 for an individual. To go, or 6 follow-up visits and then 10 physical therapy benefits. Appliance benefits, we'll pay you, the worse you get hurt, the more money you're going to get. So more stitches, then more money. There is a little bit of life insurance on this plan. So if you pass away due to an accident, the beneficiaries would receive $50,000 on the insured spouse, $15,000 on the kiddos. If it's a hazardous activity, in other words, you're racing cars, snowmobiles, motorcycles, you're doing it for a wage, then there's a little bit smaller benefit, 10 on the adults and then 5 on the kids. If you're on a plane, train, bus, boat, something that you're a fare paying passenger, it's $200,000, and then 30 on the kids. Dismemberment benefit, the more you lose, the more we pay. So, anywhere from $300 to $50,000. So $300 might be the tip of your pinky, and both arms, both legs, 50 G's. But keep it in mind. So there is a wellness benefit on our plan. It pays annually $60 just for having your teeth cleaned, just for going and having your annual physical, a DOT physical. Getting a cancer screening, as long as you had all the other physical parts with that too, then you're good. There's a family support benefit, organized sporting benefit. So if you're playing on a softball league in the summer, or your kids are playing football, basketball, whatever, we'll pay an additional 25% because you were doing it during an organized sporting event, whatever, up to $1,000. And then there's transportation benefits. Hopefully you got that paid. I thought of that
Oh,
when
we
you
were
were.
checking every box.
Okay, all right. But I just want, but you might want to look at that. $700 if you're over 50 miles away from home. So
Oh,
yeah, you might want to check on that. And then family lodging is $150 a night if you have to be away from home. So there's a lot of benefits that go along with this. I'm trying to go through it rather rapidly, but just so you recognize, those are all cash things to you in the event of an accident. It doesn't have to be a vehicular accident. Mine was boating. An accident, I was flossing my teeth and I got a piece of floss. It shredded in between my teeth and I picked and picked and picked until I actually broke the crown off. And so I went into the dentist. I got my $150 because they did an x-ray. I had 2 follow-up visits at $40 a piece, and then there's if it has to be fixed with a crown, there's a $500 benefit for that. So just keep that in mind. That's there's lots of things that go along with that.
Is the wellness payout is it 2 or 4 for a family?
Actually, the wellness on the accident plan is 1 per policy.
Okay, I couldn't
It's
remember what it was.
per year.
Okay.
So it's just $60. Just thanks for having your policy and thanks for taking care of yourself. So that is the accident plan and the premium on that. I'm going to go over that real quick just so you have an idea of how this works. So on that, it'll actually be on the front page. At the bottom, you'll see the accident plan, and then you look at it based on who and what you are. If you're an individual, it could be $13.62. That's adding an additional $35,000 in life on that. If it's a family, it could be as high as $29.10 per paycheck on a biweekly basis. So the majority of that is pre-taxable. So you do save about 25% on that. That runs through the pre-tax. So those of you who choose the plans that have a deductible, this is the plan that's going to help you with that. So our choice plan is actually a plan that was put together because of the large deductibles that are out there. We're going into groups where people are having to pay upwards of $12,000 for their deductible. They have to meet that before it's going to cover anything, and so we're trying to help with that. This can go a little bit higher than what this says, but I think we'll be fine with the $2,000 benefit that's on this. And so what that means is the plan, this is the plan, the top portion here, and the other things are riders. And so what that is the hospital confinement, it can pay $500, $1,000, $1,500, or $2,000. That's a benefit you choose based on whatever you got going on. So if you go with the plan that has the $500 deductible or the $1,000 deductible, and that's all you want to do is meet that deductible, then you can choose the $1,000. But because you chose that plan and you want the $2,000, you can have the $2,000. We don't care. We don't ever coordinate with anyone. And then we have a rehab facility, $100 a day, emergency room, $100 twice per year per covered person. And then we have a short stay benefit of $100. That's the actual plan. So this plan can be super inexpensive. It's when you start adding the riders on that it gets a little bit pricier. And then the extended benefits rider is doctor visits, $25 for an individual, 3 visits, and then 6 for a family. Lab testing and x-ray is $35, 2 payments per covered person per calendar year. Medical diagnostic imaging is the $150, and that's 2 exams. That even includes a sleep study, which is new and we're proud of. Ambulance benefit, $202,000. So that's a rider itself. So that could, you could choose the plan and that rider. You could choose that and the plus rider, the pretty blue one I went over at the beginning. And then it has a hospital stay benefit rider that is where it pays a surgery benefit up to $1,000. Invasive diagnostic, your colonoscopy. You go and have that as a wellness, and we're going to pay you $100 for the short stay, $100 for the colonoscopy. If you're in intensive care, $500 a day from up to the 30th day, as well as a $100 confinement benefit. So if you're just in a regular room, it's $100 on top of that. Second surgical opinion will even pay for that. So there's lots of options, and those are things that will help you to be able to figure out when we sit down with you individually Monday, Wednesday, or Friday of next week, in order to figure out what plan is going to be best for you. If you're thinking about having a family or adding to your family, this is definitely the plan that you want to have. If you've got, if you're going to be having surgery, as long as you can wait a year, we only have a 1-year look back for anything that you had pre-existing. So if last week you went and had a heart attack, we can still cover you starting January 1. It's not going to cover you for that heart attack for 1 year. Okay? So does that make sense? All right, and then on the other side, we do have a cancer. We have 3 different cancer plans. I always bring all 3 to the table because we have them available. Level 1 or option 1 is not my favorite plan. I don't really encourage people to look at that. Option 2 and 3 are very, very respected. They're all 3. Yeah.
It's a cost benefit analysis.
Exactly.
Is why she says that.
Yeah, so all 3 are great plans. They all do the exact same thing. What they do is pay a cash benefit to you for each thing is the same thing. This one pays you a little less than this one. This is the best plan that we offer. But when you look at how much option 1 cost and what it pays you versus the other 2 plans, it doesn't make any sense to me. Why would you spend that to get that when you could get, for $1 more you can have the other one? So, but we can look at it, whatever works best for you. So all 3 of them do the same exact thing. They all have a wellness benefit. This one's $100. The one below that is $75, and the one below that's $25. This one has an initial diagnosis of $6,000. One below that's $4,000. One below that's $1,000. And then children's is always double whatever yours is. Your dependent children are your babies until they're 26, and then they can no longer be on the plan. We do throw on a dependent rider that is an additional $10,000 in the event that your child is diagnosed with an internal cancer or Clark's melanoma level 3 or greater, and that would be, so in the first year that'd be a $22,000 benefit to you. And then we throw on an actual building benefit rider. So each year that you don't use the plan, it's that benefit that I just talked about is going to grow by $500 each year. So the next year would be $6,500, and then $7,000, and $7,500 is just going to keep going up and up. And the children's benefit is always double whatever yours has grown to. And then the cancer screening is per person. So whatever plan you choose and whatever amount that is per person covered in the family. Then we have the treatment benefits, for the radiation, chemotherapy, all of that type of stuff, hormonal, anti-nausea, stem cell, blood and plasma. We have surgery benefits. We have prophylactic benefits, which is, bless you. Prophylactic benefits, which is something if you were diagnosed with a gene. If you went and had the genetic testing and you actually had the gene to have breast cancer and you decided to have your breast removed, that is a prophylactic benefit. We have that now. We're the only company out there that I know of that's doing that, so we're pretty proud of that. Extended care, home health care, hospice care, nursing services, surgical prosthetics, non-surgical prosthetics, reconstructive surgeries. We have egg harvesting. We have annual care benefits. So on the anniversary date, for the next 5 years, you receive $300 after you've had a diagnosis of an internal cancer. Ambulance benefits, transportation, lodging, up to $80 a day, so 50 cents a mile. So all of those things add up when you're going through that. If you've ever experienced cancer with anyone, you recognize that all of these things that I'm saying happen when you're fighting the battle. And then we do throw a specified disease rider on there that does cover 31 different diseases in the event that you were diagnosed with one of those. On all of our policies, we have what's called waiver of premium and continuation of coverage. Waiver of premium means that if if you are disabled and unable to go to work, you do need to make your first 3 months of payment on that and make sure that you keep those up, and then you apply for waiver of premium. They will waive the premium until you get back to work. We have a guy right now that has cancer. He went off. He's never going back to work, and he's been claiming on it every year now for 4 years, and he hasn't made a premium since he went off. So he'll continue to be able to have his coverage. And then we do have continuation of coverage. So you're in between jobs, or you have a situation happen and you weren't able to go to work. And you let Aflac know, and Aflac will pick up the premium for up to 2 months for you. The policy had to have been in the payroll scenario for 6 months prior to applying for that coverage. But that is something that's on you to remember, that you have that available. I have been doing this for a long, long time, and I was off for almost 2 years, and I forgot that I had a waiver of premium. So I'm sitting down after my first day back, and I'm talking to somebody, and I go, wow, I wonder what I let Aflac know, and guess what? Got all that premium back that I paid all of those 2 years. So incredible company. I've gotten wellnesses paid as far back as 22 years for people who forgot that they had that benefit available to them. So it says that you have 1 year to file the claim, but trust me, if you didn't do it, we'll help you. We'll help you get it figured out. That's the benefit of bringing, what we're bringing to the table is called an individual product, and I did that on purpose. I did that because then I can help you personally be able to file claims. If I did it in a different way, I couldn't, as a group, I couldn't help you. I think that's important. I believe that that's part of what the service that I've done in Gratiot County and in the area that has helped us to be able to be here today. So I do thank you guys for that. Paul's going to go over a couple things, and we're going to talk a little bit about the dental and the vision and the life options that you do have available, as well as the free products. So.
Yep, just like you said, a complimentary product, a free product. I would imagine everybody likes complimentary or free. City of Elm is going to offer out, you don't have to purchase anything from us, you don't have to take a policy with us, you just have to come and see us. A product called Easy Shield. It's an identity theft protection. We see all the data breaches and things that go on online. Yeah, it's something to help monitor that for you. If your ID does get stolen, they're going to help walk you through the steps of getting things back there. That's going to go out to you for the year, absolutely complimentary.
And then we do have the dental options, which we can actually work with you in being able to help you to balance that out. We have a great plan that pays about 50%. So if you're looking to know that you've got to have a lot of dental work done, then definitely make sure you sit down with us. The brochure is not in there. I couldn't have carried the boxes if I put every brochure that we could offer in here. We do have a vision product that does pay you a cash benefit because you went and had an eye exam. Even though it didn't cost you anything over here, you can still get some cash back on the other side to help you with those lenses and those types of things. We do have a life product. We do have term and whole life available to you as well. And those are a voluntary product. Up to $50,000, we're very, very inexpensive. And then the thing that you can look at on that, we don't require a physical. So for those of you who are worried about that, we do have that available to you. There is no physical with our life insurance plans. So, any questions? Oh yeah. Well, and if we had 10 people to do we could do some guaranteed life, so that would mean that but 10 people do have to take that product. But that means that even people who were diagnosed with a cancer or a heart attack or something that they're diabetes,
diabetics,
that normally can't get insurance, we can actually do that. So.
Yeah, it's going to bypass that.
But we would need 10 people to participate in that GI if we did go with that. Any questions for me?
The orthodontics,
Mm-hmm.
I heard that mentioned earlier.
Yes.
I have a daughter that's already doing that. Is that
No.
too late?
Too late.
Yeah.
Basically, it has it has a 2-year waiting period on it. So, so those of you who have kids that are coming up and are going to, or anybody that wants to have them, there's a 2-year waiting period on the ortho. And so this is how I look at it. And I'll be very honest with you. If you will save the money that you would receive, if you would just take that money and put it aside in the years that you pay the premium, you could just pay that So I'll be super honest with you. If it's not a good idea for you, I would hate to see you paying a premium on something that you could have taken that money and set it aside and been able to just pay that bill. So just know that I'll be brutally honest, actually. So if I don't think that's a good call for you, I'm going to say no, don't do that. But I'd rather have you take that money and protect your income than I would to have you to buy something that you could just take that money and set it aside and get a dentist instead. And the premium quotes, you will be confused when you look at them. There's no other way for us to provide them to you, but they are stupid confusing. So what I did is the very highest and the very lowest premium on the choice plan, the 500 and the 2,000. So when you look at that, you'll know that that's the most you would pay. And then we will sit down with everybody individually. So look for us. I don't know what room we'll be in. We'll figure that out. I'm sure there'll be an email or something go out to let you guys know where we'll be. But we look forward to meeting you all and seeing you all on Monday, Wednesday, or Friday. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, guys. Guys, thanks for your patience. I appreciate you guys coming and doing this. So I know it's a lot in one night, and I know it's a confusing topic, so I think this was helpful. You know, confusing topics, I want to clear something up. There's been, I opened my mouth, maybe employee development team at one point just caused some confusion when we talk about retirement, okay? We're not making changes to defined benefit versus defined contribution, okay? I know that I freaked some people out, I think, when I talked about some of the issues that we're talking about with retirement and in terms of what we may be looking for with MERS at a given point in time. There also is no, I would say, has there been discussion at a certain point in time about should the city be looking at defined contribution versus defined benefit? Yes. Is that going to happen? Not without a fight from any of us, and I don't think that that's anything that really, I haven't heard it in a while. So I want you to be clear that when we're talking about changes in retirement, those weren't the areas that we're talking about. We're talking about someone with vacation pay and some other things that may come down the pike at a certain point in time. But the defined benefit, for those that are in the defined benefit, you guys, is where we're at. And it's not that we're looking to make that change. And frankly, I haven't heard that in a while. So I also think we've done enough research on that shows if we do that, if we made that change, it may cost us more in the beginning anyway. So we'll have MERS here to explain some of that, also to talk with the commission about some of those things. The only other thing I have for going along that line is we are looking at something with MERS that could be something that may replace ICMA. Okay. The reason behind that, MERS actually has, if you look at the plan side by side, and we're not at a decision-making process of something being looked at, fees are much lower as you go on with the MERS program than what we're seeing out of ICMA. They've done a number of transfers, they've done a number of things, but in case you hear a rumor that no, we're not backing out of ICMA next week, there's nothing like that. But it is something that we believe that we probably need to look at and take a good, strong look at if there's a benefit to us. Okay.
Matt, just a quick question on that. If we do, will we be able to do a cost-free transfer of funds? Or?
Yes. Yeah, the way MERS sets it all up, there's no penalty for that movement. There isn't that how it happens. And MERS does all of it for us. So there would be. And then we have to look at that further. I was pretty impressed with what we saw to begin with. Some of the other things that we've talked about with MERS would really make some changes, I believe, for people who are retiring and what their health care could look like, some of the options that MERS has. That frankly was really shocked us when we heard some of the things and what they can do healthcare wise in retirement. So that's what we're doing. But I think when I even brought up defined benefit, defined contribution, and some of the things, because that was part of what MERS had brought us, showing us some of the trends that have happened. People who have went to hybrid, people who have made the complete change, people who have the things that they've had. What they found is it's not really that beneficial over time. MERS, if you make that major change, they want their money. That they want to make sure. Plus, our idea when we talk about this is, as long as we have a defined benefit program out there, somebody needs to keep paying in. When you take that away, nobody's paying in. And at that point in time, MERS basically says we'd like our money now, and we'd like a lot more of it in a shorter period of time. So that was just a talk that it went on. There is no change like that happening. Okay. And for sure, you'd never hear about it like that. Okay, so that's not anything on the agenda. Hope we cleared that up. We've talked about every employee development team, I think, for the last 3 months. So I can see why there was some confusion out there, but that's not, I'm not looking to take away your defined benefit. And I'm not looking to give you one back, so. See you guys from there. So, that's it. Thanks, guys. I really appreciate everybody coming down. That date again, Sheila.
You're gonna have till November first.
She's feeling gracious.
You guys have gotten nice over the night. No, we got to set that up. We'll be after the first week.
They brought me back to school and I last like 2 weeks.
You're on, I hit 8:30 and I'm like, I might as well take one of the kids with me.
Yep.
I just don't like getting up that early.
It's too tiring.
Thank you for that. Appreciate that. Pass that on.
I don't know all my.
Is that still recording? Hi.
Turn that off.